Today's episode, we're going to be talking about how can you love yourself more where you are at right now. The reason why this is super important is that I hear a lot of nurses talking about how they absolutely hate how they've got to where they are. They have a lot of negative thoughts about how they've come to be where they are today in their nursing career and in their life. And I wanted to explore that because I think that it's very important for us to acknowledge that at some point in your life, there was a version of you that absolutely loved the idea of where you are now. Just let that sink in. There's a past version of you, past nursing you, that absolutely had huge aspirations to be where you are today. And that version of you could not believe what you have made possible. Think about it. This is something that I talk about a lot in our coaching calls with our nurses. And it gives us a lot of perspective. Because when I think back to new graduate nursing Liam, and I think about Liam in his first year, and I think about what would he say if he knew what I've achieved? What would he say? How excited would he be? What would he be thinking? Like, would he be like I just can see him like jumping up and down. Like, what? You did what? You left a high-paid job? Why would you do that? Right? Like, he'd be both confused and totally thrilled. What does that look like for you? If you are stuck in a cycle of negative self-talk and negative inner patterns, and your brain just doesn't give you a break from believing that you haven't done it right, or you're on the wrong path, or I'm stuck, or I'm confused, and all of these things that our brain just offers us as if it's just like gospel truth. I want you to consciously spend some time thinking about a past version of you. What would they be saying? How proud would they be of what you've achieved? Would they even believe what you have to tell them about what you've done? What does that look like? And I want you to think about, how is that different from the current version of you? How is that different from what you're telling yourself now? Because at some point in your life, in your nursing career, there's a past version of you that absolutely loved the path that you were on. Yeah. So how can you bring more of that into now? And how can you use that to propel you forward? How can you use that to give yourself permission to just go, you know what? When I was a new graduate, that served me, that goal served me, and it was amazing, and I'm so passionate about it, but now I've changed. I'm different. I have different beliefs, different thoughts. I have different goals, different priorities. I have different whys. Instead of using all of that against yourself and beating yourself up with it, and trust me, I've tried it, how could you use that perspective from your past self and use it to inform your current self? And go, you know what, like, I am pretty amazing. How much time do you spend there? How much time do you spend reflecting and going, oh my God, look at how far I've come? I really, really want you to do that. And then how can you use that to inform your future? Because once we've looked back in the past, because we can't change the past, but once we've looked there and we've gone, oh my goodness, new graduate Liam would be like, you live in Paris? And you've been with Luke for 10 years and you became a nurse unit manager and you got 2 masters? Like, and you run your own business and you help nurses all over the world? What? He would not believe me. Like, and even when I say that and I go to that place and I think about him and think about that past version of me, I get emotional about it. Because sometimes I'm super shitty to myself. You're not doing enough. You should be doing more. Why is it not blowing up? Why are more people not paying attention? Why is coaching not already in healthcare? Right? And I go to that place. But when I go back to Liam and little Liam and younger version of Liam, I'm just like enthralled with it. I'm just like, you know what? He's there with me the whole time. And on the days where it's really tough, he's like, you know what? You're still making progress, mate. Like, look at it. Look at you go. It's like having like a little cheerleader there, right? We want to get to a place in our nursing careers where we have our own back. We trust ourselves. We have our own back. And then we're open and willing to feel both sides of the spectrum. We're open and willing to feel all of the emotion. Because little Liam, new graduate nurse Liam, he makes me feel so excited. He like gives me a little bit of oomph, like, go and get it. You're sitting here talking to the screen right now, and you're talking to people that you don't know who they are. And hopefully you're having an impact. Liam, like, this is what you wanted. This is what you created. You did this. You have a version of that story that maybe you're not paying attention to. And when we look at the past and we look at it through that lens and we tap into our past versions of ourselves, we get to use it to inform our current reality. And we get perspective, right? We get fact. We get perspective. And then when we look forward to the future, we get to think about, how can I set up my future self right now in this moment? How can I set up and hook up future Liam for all of the things that he wants as I move forward in my career? So when I talk about career planning and promotion and possibilities and all of this, that's what I'm talking about. You're setting your future self up. And here's a beautiful thing that I've started doing this year that you can pinch from me and implement into your own life. It's super easy. That will just help you, give you more perspective. I want you to spend more time from being in your future version of you than you spend being in your past version, right? So a lot of us are stuck in the past, but it's not in a good way. We're not looking at it like, oh, little Liam's here and he's like, yay, cheerleading. We're looking at it like, I should have done that differently. And, I stuffed up there. And if I hadn't done that, then I wouldn't be where I am today. And maybe I would have been a doctor, right? Whatever that is for you. We use the past against ourselves as if we can change it. We can't change it. You can't change the fact that you made a medication error, but you can set up your future self so that you never do it again. Or that if you do it again, that you've learned your lesson and that you don't beat the shit out of yourself. Right? That's totally within your control. The past is not. So I want you to start living from your future. It's a bit cognitive, but I want you to start living from your future self. I want you to think about, how does me that's already achieved this goal in the future, how would they react to this thing right now? I love using this in my business, right? I'm like, how does Liam that's achieved his goals in 2023 at the end of this year on the 31st of December, how does he react to a couple of people on social media not liking my post and giving me beef about it? Because when I go to that place, I'm like, he doesn't care, because he's impacted thousands of people. He's used his platform for good. He's put out 1,000 other posts that were hugely valuable. And he's achieved his goals. And he's had an impact. And he's transformed the lives of other people. When I think about me now, I'm in protective mode. I'm like, oh my God, I can't. How dare they? When did they last put out a post? Do they even have an opinion? Right? Like, it's totally different cognitive space. And when I think back to my past, I go, oh my God, well, we knew this would happen. We knew people would disagree. You should have protected yourself from this. Right? There's so many different lenses that we can apply. And when we live from our future version of us, we don't have to spend all our time there. But when you're in the nitty gritty and you're dealing with some challenges, you can spend some time there and you can be like, how would future version of me do this? How would they deal with this? Would they even care? Such a good question. Would future you even care that your nurse unit manager didn't give you the 3 days off that you needed? If you're making a change in your career and you're going to do X, Y, and Z, would that version of you even care? Protect your peace. Protect yourself, right? All of these things happening external to us, living from our future version of us, allows us to create that reality ahead of time. You literally hook yourself up. It's like Tinder. It's like Tinder or dating or like matchmaking in real life, but you're doing it for yourself. You're not waiting for other people to do it. You're not waiting for your manager in a year's time to say, by the way, we finally recognize you're amazing. Well done. Which, by the way, is never going to happen. Here's the promotion. I want you to think from the place now, from the person, from the version of you that's got the promotion. Live from that place. How would you be showing up every day if you live from that place? How would you show up in your work? What thoughts would you be thinking? How would you be feeling about your abilities? What actions would you take? What inactions would you be? What would you not be doing? What results are you creating for yourself? Using the different versions of ourselves might sound a bit woo-woo and a bit cognitive, but I really want you to just play with it. Just even consider it. I definitely want you to go back to your graduate version of you. And if you're a graduate, go back to student version of you. And if you're a student in your first couple of weeks, go back to pre-student. And just look, even if it's been 3 days, look back and look with curiosity and look in awe and tap into that past self and be like, oh, you're now a student nurse and you've done a week on placement? Like, that's pretty sweet. Like, remember when you thought that that wasn't even possible? Right? Such a different energy than, oh my God, I've been on placement for a week and I suck. Your brain is negatively geared. It's always, always, always going to tell you the BS story first. Okay? We have to get conscious about it. And this is one strategy that we can use that you can implement right now to be like, okay, I have made it. Like, I've done really great. It's incredible where I am. Regardless, I don't even know you, but I know that you've done great. Of course you have. Why? Because you get to decide. Your job, title, qualifications, none of that decides how great you've done. You get to decide. Your salary doesn't decide how great you've done. You get to decide. Stop measuring your life with all of the things outside of you. Measure it internally. Tap into your past, present, and future self. Let them guide you. Let them help you move towards your goal. Spend more time living from your future than living in your past. Most of us are just reliving the same 6 months over and over and over. Interject that. Stop that process. If you're a high performer, stop it. Choose to live in the present. Choose to consciously manage your mind. Choose to believe empowering thoughts that only move you forward, not backwards. Recognize that your brain's going to take you backwards anyway, and it's your job to pull yourself back. And recognize that you can set your future self up right now, today. That you can choose consciously how you want their life to be, and then you can move towards it. And you can even embody it right now. This is what people do that have hugely successful lives. They don't wait until they're, whatever you define success as, they don't wait till they're a millionaire to feel like a millionaire. They feel like a millionaire today. They tell themselves, I'm a millionaire. I can do this. I've got X, Y, and Z skills. They create the reality from their thinking today. You can do the same in your nursing career. I'm an educator. Right? And some of you will be like, oh, but I can't because I'm not an educator and blah, 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 blah. Good. That's what's supposed to happen. Because then you've got to negotiate with yourself and you've got to tell yourself, hold on, maybe I am. Either way, it could be true. There's no right or wrong. You get to decide. So why not choose to believe? If you can decide that you're shit and terrible, and you can also decide that you're amazing and incredible, why would you choose the negative? Consciously. Your brain will offer it to you, but why would you choose it? Let's spend more time in our future versions of us, where we can create whatever the heck we want to create. And here's the funny thing that happens. When you think from the future, when you feel from the future version of yourself, when you take action or don't do the things that no longer serve you from the future version of you that's achieved your goal, you will create and guarantee the result that you want. Just happens. I have no explanation for it. It just happens. In order for you to achieve something, it starts with a thought. You have to think that it's possible. If you don't think it's possible, you will not create it. It's as simple as that. So that is why in all of our programs, we always start with mindset. We always start with, what are you telling yourself about this opportunity? And 9 times out of 10, it's, I can't do this, I'm not capable, I don't have enough. When you choose to think like that, and you intentionally move forward with those thoughts, you will get rejected. You will not get the job. You will not succeed. You will not, do not pass go, do not collect $200. Right? It's how it works. Psychology 101. So we want to create our future from our thinking. Because every dream, every goal, every achievement that you have, that you want to pursue and make come true in your life, all starts with a thought. Right? Think about it. Everything's just a thought. Just a dream. Just something that, a sentence in your mind. Oh, maybe I could do that. Like, it starts with like a little question. Like, maybe I could. And instead of asking yourself, like, or telling yourself more that it's not possible for me, I can't do that, start asking yourself, like, what if that was possible for me? If there's evidence in the world that somebody else has done it, why would you choose to think that you couldn't do it? Right? Like, that just feels shitty. Why would you choose to believe that that's true? If there's somebody else on this earth that's done what you want to do, which, by the way, it's like everything, because everybody's done everything, right? There's people that have done everything on this earth. If there's something that you want to do that somebody else has done, they've proven that it's possible. They're not smarter, better, more equipped, more privileged than you are. They just made it happen. And you can too, okay? So I want you to think about your past version of yourself. Come tell me on socials. Tell me what wisdom they shared with you. And a beautiful thing happens when you tap into your future self. They're always just more calm. They're always more like, why would you even sweat that? They're always more aligned with the highest grade R version of you. They don't care about all of the things that right now in this moment you're blowing your mind over. They don't care about all of that. They're like, you're going to make this happen. And in order to make this happen, you've got to let go of that shit. They become your inner guide. And what's beautiful about it is you need no one else. There is actually no excuse for it. You just tap into it. What would future Liam that's achieved this goal think today? And he'd be like, get to fucking work. Right? Do the podcast. Put it out there. Stuff up. Be vulnerable. Because you'll get closer to your goal. So let me know what that looks like for you. Please share this podcast with anybody that you can. I know I put out nearly 100 episodes now, and I get messages all the time from people that say, Liam, loved it, listened to it, implemented it, and changed my world. And other people are like, oh my God, you just made me realize X, Y, and Z. I love hearing this. I don't need to hear it, but I love hearing it because it helps me see that it's landing and that people understand and that it's applicable. So please share it. Please, I ask you, it's free. It's completely free. And it is the kindest thing that you could do for me and all the work that I put into this to help you thrive in your nursing career so that you don't have to go through the things that, I talk about on this podcast. So please share. And I will see you in the next one. And I'll see you in the next one with your future self. Bring your future self along and your past version of yourself. And let's just all tap into the wisdom together. Alrighty? I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching the High Performance Nursing Podcast. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell for all future video notifications. If you want to dive deeper into this work, please come and join us in the High Performance Nursing membership. All the links are in the comments below. We would love to see you there and help you thrive within your nursing life, career, and mindset. Let's do this.